Right, what's going on, everybody? So, we have to talk about Bitcoin here because Bitcoin has dropped in price. There are some predictions that Bitcoin is going to continue to rise and that it's not going to drop anymore. But we're going to talk about the technical analysis today because we're not just going to go off speculation. We're just really going to break it down technically. All right. So, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but let's go straight over it. So, first things first, we are at 60.5K on Bitcoin. So that's pretty good. You know, if you look at where we were 7 days ago, we're down 6.9% in the last 7 days and up 4.9% in the last month. So, you know, we're up a little bit. But if you look at it in the last 7 days, we have lost a lot of value inside of Bitcoin. Now, this is all because of the whole thing with Iran and Israel and Lebanon, the whole war that's going on in the Middle East, right? That's what everybody's looking at. And then you got this whole port strike thing going on inside the United States that has just now been resolved. Then you have the Federal Reserve, you know, making a bunch of meetings. So you just got a lot of stuff that's kind of, you know, playing against the market. And then you also have the presidential elections of the United States. So there's a lot of things going against the market and there's some things going with the market. So we can't really make too much speculations off that because it almost balances itself out, right? It just evens itself out. So, you know, everything's all right there. But when you look over here at the charts, it does seem a little fishy right now because when you think about it, typically, whenever we hit the top of this little trend line up here, we continue to hit the top of it, but then we always pull back right after we hit the top of that, right? And as you can see now, we almost hit the top of it. We haven't necessarily hit the top of it. So just kind of like what happened back here, when you seen that it almost hit the top of this trend line up here, you can actually see what it pulled back, but only halfway. It pulled back a little bit and then it went all the way up to the top of that trend line. All right. So this could mean that we have some more push to push us up higher into the market. Just kind of like here, how we almost got there and then we pulled back and then we went up higher. This could show that we have the possibility to kind of stop it right here and then hit the top of that trend line and continue to rise up from there. And actually, if you look at it, we're at the equilibrium price point right now for our trading indicators with Chart Prime. And then we have our Fibonacci retracement down here at about 58K. So that is, it's a good signal right now. A little bit of a bullish signal is what we're seeing right now. All right. And that was on the daily chart. Now, looking at a shorter term chart here, the 15-minute chart, we can actually see that we're bouncing off of these discounted price points and moving up a little bit more. But you can also see where we have came from. We were at the bottom where our momentum wave bands were. And typically when we touch those momentum wave bands, we usually always have an increase in price coming shortly after it. But then we have those times where we just keep going down. So we got to watch out for that as well. Now, looking over here at the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin, it's almost like the same thing as the daily chart where you can see us hitting the equilibrium price point. We're at that equilibrium price point now. But what kind of concerns me is looking at this momentum wave band right on that equilibrium price point. You can see how it's starting to curve downwards. So that is usually the sign of a pullback. You can kind of see how these momentum wave bands are starting to curve downwards. And I'm not making it up. It is really curving downwards. And remember, sometimes indicators show the wrong movements, right? But usually when you see it curving downwards like here, it's because it's about to go down. Same thing here. We've seen it curving downwards up here, and then the price started to go down. If you just kind of scroll back a little bit further, starts to curve downwards, price starts to decrease. Scroll back a little bit further, starts to curve downwards, and the price decreases. So maybe it doesn't do the same thing this time. Maybe it just kind of breaks that pattern. We won't know until it happens. But we are trading heavily inside of those momentum wave bands and it is curving downwards. And we do have some trend assistant lines that are going from bullish, which are the green ones, to the red lines, which are bearish. And this is all part of the automated trading indicators with Chart Prime. Link in the description for that. So it is looking a little bit bearish here, but hey, anything could change at any given time. Just got to put that out there because anything's possible. Now let's take off the Market Oracle Pro here with Chart Prime, and let's bring up our RSI. I like to use the Stoch RSI. Some people like to use the other RSI, the normal one. So I'll bring up both of those RSIs. Now for the Stoch RSI, we are almost at the top. And once we cross here at the top and start to go downwards, then we could have a decrease in our price because of that. The same thing like what happened back here. We crossed at the top and then started to pull back. This was that cross at the top. Then that's when you've seen that pullback from 65K, 66K down to where we are now at 60K. And you see it a lot, right? Where we can cross up here at the top and then have a pullback. Sometimes the pullbacks aren't as strong as you would think. Like this one only went from about 64K down to 62K. So we might have a pullback, but it might not be that big of a pullback. It might only pull back to the Fibonacci retracement at 58K. So there's always the possibility that it does not pull back as hard as we think it's going to pull back, right? But then some of the other pullbacks are strong pullbacks, like this one when it crossed at the top of the Stoch RSI, and then it pulled all the way back down here from 65K down to 58, and then it just kept going, and yeah, it went even lower than that. So that's another thing. Now look, this is the 4-hour chart, so let's bring it up to the daily chart. Now it looks a little bit different when we're on the daily chart, because when you look at the daily chart, now it's crossing at the bottom. You see how these are kind of conflicting here, because when you cross at the bottom on the Stoch RSI, this means typically it's about to go up. So there's mixed signals right now in the technicals. You can see down here where we crossed at the bottom, we had that increase in the price. And then you can kind of see back here, we kind of crossed at the bottom, but then we tried to go up and we got rejected again. So then we went down. That's why you see the green candlesticks, and then you see a quick drop after that. And then it decided it's going to pump. So same thing could quite possibly happen. So we got to watch out for that. Maybe it tries to go up again, like it did previously, but it can't. So it can't make that cross right here, and it ends up going back down again before it goes up. Then that would constitute the pullback to this Fibonacci retracement, possibly a little bit lower to our high demand area. But I don't think we're going to go that low, honestly. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. But hey, it's looking a little fishy right now in the market. It's really conflicting right now. Like, it's hard to tell where exactly it's going because we have all these mixed signals. Now, this is the Stoch RSI, right? Let's say we take off the Stoch RSI and we bring the RSI on that everybody likes. Everybody likes the normal RSI, right? Not many people will use the Stoch RSI. People typically like to use this RSI, right? Because it's the original RSI, I guess, as we can call it. A little bit, some people like it to look a lot differently. Maybe I can change this to look a little bit more similar to what people are used to, like get some green lines here, just so people are more familiar with it. I personally like to have that RSI line as the red, so you can change colors just so it kind of looks more familiar to you. But the bottom line is, if we are going below this middle line here, if we go below this 50 points right here on the RSI, then that is a bearish sign. When we're up above that, it's a bullish sign. So when we see this RSI line crossing here at the middle, and then you see the green line crossing up to the top, that's a bullish signal. But if you see this red line starting to go down below that 50 point right there area, that 50 point area, and then you see the green line going down with it, and then you see it crossing, the red crossing down here with the green, and then it increases, then it goes from bearish to bullish. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm pretty much saying is it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a pullback, a little more of a pullback, and then another increase in the price. But look at how good of a support we have here at the equilibrium price point. Our support is looking fairly good over here because we're still holding nicely at that support. If we look at the 15-minute chart, you can see it kind of is holding pretty nicely here. So hopefully we don't break this discount price point and don't go below 60K. We're holding this line pretty strongly. Hopefully we do not break it. So no, that's not a trend that we can follow. We're looking for at least 3 touches on the trend line. So we don't have a trend that we can necessarily follow right now. Like you could say that this right here is a trend because it has hit it 3 times here. 1, 2, 3. So I guess we can say we have a little bit of a downtrend, but it's not 100%. All right. So we don't want to just say that it's a trend just for the sake of saying it. But it is kind of looking a little trendy here, if you want to say that. A little bit trendy here with Bitcoin. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to see what exactly happens, because it's very hard to follow along what's like pretty much with what's going on here inside of Bitcoin. It's very hard. But if you ask me, I do think there's going to be a little bit of a pullback, like I said, back down here to the discount price point. But when it gets back down to this discounted price point at this discount zone, we could have massive movements upward. And maybe it doesn't even pull back. Maybe it just breaks out from 60K upwards, from 60.5K upwards. But if not, we could quite possibly see it breaking down to 60K again. And then once it hits 60K, then we could have that increase in the price. So I do think that we're going to have a jump inside of the price soon here for Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time, but it might be a pullback before we get that nice pump into Bitcoin. So that's pretty much what we got here. I just kind of wanted to break that down for you all today. And hey, look, if you like the momentum wave bands, if you like these premium, equilibrium, and discounted price points with the Market Dynamics Pro and the momentum wave bands with the Market Oracle Pro, then check out the link for in the description for Chart Prime, best trading indicators in the world. And you can use the discount code PRIME20 for 20% off, and you can try it risk-free for 7 days. So definitely check that out, link inside of the description, and you will be helping out the channel immensely, because I have no sponsors. That is my only one, and it's like an affiliate link. So definitely check that out. I use these indicators every single day. But anyways, hit the like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and it's just financial advice. And as always, I'll be back with another video.